Not many people really understand how sleep works or how sleep affects their health. Most people just go to bed because their bodies have told them that they are tired and need to get some rest. It is a common misbelief that while you are sleeping, your brain also shuts down and rests as well. However, this is not the case, as you will later learn. Before we go too in-depth on sleep, it is important to understand some basic anatomy of the brain structures associated with sleep. According to the article Brain Basics: Understanding Sleep by the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, the following parts are vital structures of the brain associated with sleep: the brainstem, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, and the pineal gland. The brainstem is located at the base of the brain. It sends signals to the hypothalamus to regulate sleep and wake transitions. It also sends signals to the rest of the body in order to relax the muscles, that way you won't move while you're dreaming. The thalamus is located directly above the brainstem. The thalamus relays information to the cerebral cortex so that the brain can make connections and interpret the information. The hypothalamus is located directly in front of and below the thalamus. The hypothalamus receives signals of light exposure and helps to regulate circadian rhythm. Lastly is the pineal gland. The pineal gland is located directly behind the thalamus and produces melatonin, which helps in falling asleep and staying asleep once you are asleep. Now that you know a little bit more about the brain, let's discuss sleep cycles. It is important to know that there are two different types of sleep. The first type of sleep is non-rapid eye movement, or NREM sleep, and the second is rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. According to the National Sleep Foundation, in their article, Sleep-Wake Cycle, Its Physiology and Impact on Health, non-REM sleep is, and I quote, a reduction in physiological activity, unquote, and REM sleep is, and I quote again, an active period of sleep marked by intense brain activity, unquote. Within these, there are 5 separate stages of sleep, according to Robinson's article, Understanding Sleep Cycles. The first 4 stages are stages of non-REM sleep. The first stage is called Stage 1. This is a very light sleep, only lasting about 7 minutes. During this, you remain somewhat alert, your brain is beginning to produce alpha and theta waves, and your eye movement is greatly reduced. Stage 2 is also another stage of very light sleep. However, your brain waves are becoming slower. Stage 3 is finally the beginning of your very deep sleep. During this, your brain is producing slower delta waves. There is no eye or muscle movement, and it is harder to awaken from this stage of sleep. Stage 4 is very similar to Stage 3, just an even deeper sleep. The final stage is the only stage of REM sleep in the entire cycle. REM sleep usually begins about 90 minutes after falling asleep and can last up to an hour. The normal adult averages 5 to 6 cycles of REM sleep per night. This is the stage in which your brain becomes more active. For example, this is the stage where dreaming occurs. Another example is that this is the time when your brain consolidates and processes the previous day's information. During REM sleep, your body also becomes more active. Your eyes move very rapidly, hence the name rapid eye movement, and your blood pressure, heart rate, and breathing rates all increase. You now know the basics of a normal sleep cycle, so what happens when the cycle becomes abnormal? As stated in Medline Plus's article, Sleep Disorders, the most common types of sleep disorders are insomnia, sleep apnea, narcolepsy, restless leg syndrome, and parasomnias. Insomnia results in having a very difficult time falling asleep and then staying asleep when you are asleep. Sleep apnea is the sudden stop in breathing while you are asleep. Narcolepsy is the sudden need to sleep in the middle of the day, no matter how much rest you got the previous night. Restless leg syndrome is the tingling sensation all throughout your legs that makes it very difficult to fall asleep. Parasomnias result in many different things, such as nightmares, sleep talking, sleepwalking, grinding, and bedwetting. There are many other facts regarding sleep that we have not yet covered. Many of these facts have one main factor in common: time. According to the article 11 Facts About Sleep, teenagers are said to need about 8.5 to 9.25 hours of sleep per night to be well rested the next day. This article also says that most of your REM cycles occur between the times of 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. It is also proven that from birth, our bodies are developing cues that tell us when it is time to go to sleep. Some of these cues include the amount of daylight, meal times, and certain other activities that you may perform at a given time each day. Another important thing to think about is how sleep can affect your health. In the article Myths and Facts About Sleep by the National Sleep Foundation, they link sleep to your overall health, saying that not enough good sleep can lead to serious health issues such as obesity, hypertension, and even depression. With this, I will leave you with one fun fact. Beauty sleep is in fact real. While you are sleeping, your skin repairs itself and makes new skin cells, making your skin appear better and brighter when you wake. Now, we have barely scraped the surface of the sleep process, but I hope you have learned a little bit more about the basics of the sleep cycle and about different disorders associated with sleep and how they can affect your body. This is a very important and interesting process that occurs within our body, and there's always new research coming out on it. So if you are interested, try to keep up with the new information, and remember to get your beauty sleep.